over the weekend, Saudi Arabia unilaterally decided to reduce the amount of oil it sends to the rest of the world by 1 million barrels per day. Now, the goal is to prop up the price of oil a bit, which has been sagging over the last few months. This announcement comes as OPEC Plus, which is that consortium of oil-producing nations that account for right around 40% of the world's oil production, decided to extend previously agreed-upon cuts through to next year. So we're seeing all these cuts to oil supply, with the goal being to reduce the supply out there, which, as you know, causes demand to potentially go up. That's prices to go up. That's the one microeconomics class I took in college coming into handy right there. So overall, the two biggest takeaways from this announcement are, one, Saudi Arabia is willing to act unilaterally to stabilize the price of oil, which is not the best look for the rest of OPEC because it doesn't really present a unified front. And then two, we're still in a pretty weak overall market for oil because demand in the three biggest oil consumers, China, the EU, and the US, is still relatively soft. So, Neal, this is our first time really talking about the energy markets on the show. Anything about these Saudi cuts that kind of stood out to you?
It's just wild that these countries get together in Vienna every so often and they just kind of huddle up and they come out with these announcements that make huge differences to the price of oil globally. I mean, you said it was a consortium, but also it's kind of a cartel because they can work together to manipulate the price of oil, which is what a cartel can do because they control 40%. The US has been growing its oil and energy output to kind of counterbalance that, and so we can also impact the price of oil. The US never likes it when the Saudis or OPEC cuts their production because it leads to higher gas prices for us and people, Americans driving around. This doesn't seem like it's going to be a huge deal for that. It kind of sets a floor of where oil prices could go. So I wouldn't expect, definitely don't expect gas prices to go down from where they are now, but analysts don't really expect it to be a significant bump in gas prices because it's kind of a minor cut and it could not be extended in the future.
Yeah, and just to give a brief history of like how we got here of recent history, in October, OPEC slashed output by 2 million barrels, and then again in April, Saudi Arabia and Russia worked together to add another 1.6 million barrel cut, which actually really made the U.S. mad because at that time inflation was a really big deal. I mean, it's still a really big deal, but the White House kind of chastised OPEC for doing these cuts, saying basically that Russia was just trying to maximize their profits to fund the Ukrainian war. It's wild how many things like oil prices touch because it's so widespread.
Especially for the Saudis, they want to get away from oil, but and by investing in technology and sports, which we can get to, but they need oil money to fund all of that, and they need oil to be at a particular threshold price that they can balance their budget and fund all of these activities. So this threshold price for Saudi Arabia is $80 a barrel, and we're still below that. So they need to get that back up so they can fund all of these crazy initiatives that they have. There's this $500 billion mega city in the desert, remember this, called Neom? It's just a big line, and it's going to cost them $500 billion that they need oil revenue for. Then we also know that they are backing this Live Golf series, and they're paying golfers more than $100 million, not even to play, just to come over from the PGA Tour. And now, perhaps the most timely thing is that they're on this mission to become like this global soccer powerhouse. They got Ronaldo last year, paying him $200 million a year. They just signed Karim Benzema, who, if people haven't heard, is one of the best players on the planet, and they're paying him $250 million a year. And the crown jewel of this, soccer, sports washing thing that they're doing with golf is Lionel Messi, who may end up there. He's already a brand ambassador for their tourism industry.
Yeah, please no, Messi, come to Inter Miami. Stay in the U.S. Give the MLS some of your talent. So, yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, they need that $81 a barrel price, and right now oil is right around $77 after the latest price cut. So it's still below. So they're definitely sweating a little bit. So we might see some more cuts going forward. Hey, thanks for watching. And if you want more Morning Brew Daily, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And also check out the rest of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts.
New episodes drop at 7 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and you can email us at morningbrewdaily@morningbrew.com.